we have a lot of stress right now from either physical things going on or too much to do or moving, or the emotions of the holiday can bring things up. Plus, we all have our own physical challenges. And because of that, it is so important to focus on relieving the stress component of it. A lot of this other stuff we can't control, but once you change the stress component, which is, you're not changing it out there, you're changing it in here, then everything else gets a little easier to deal with. So we'll start with a little bit of movement, and sometimes you can't change it right from here. You know, like you can think as much as you want, but you have to change it through sensation, through your soma, your body, through internal things. And by doing that, when you change your physiology, it does change messages up to your brain. So let's begin just by trying to ground ourselves. And a great way to ground yourself is to orient yourself to the ground. You can start with your eyes looking at the ground, moving your feet gently back and forth. And then imagine you're a pendulum, and you're a pendulum coming to the center. So you're swaying a little less, and a little less, and a little less, and a little less, till maybe you find this sort of fulcrum point. And you can imagine that you have a fulcrum going straight down your body. If you feel comfortable to do so, you could close your eyes, but if not, just sort of soft gaze. And see if you can sense what you're doing with your feet and your legs right now. Are you gripping anywhere around the knees? Or maybe the pelvic area, is it all being gripped? Are you having to activate too much muscle here, which is fatiguing your body? And these are just inquiries. These are not judgments. This is just to notice. So maybe after the practice, we can do this again and notice if we've changed anything. So we're going to see if we can sense our back body without touching it. This will be a lot easier to do when we're on the ground. But can you sense the curves of your back? Can you sense where it's like a wave? See if you can sense that in your body. Now, all of these things seem silly, possibly, but this is how we change our nervous system. This is how we change, in particularly, our autonomic nervous system. It's through these sensing practices. These are not nothing. These are actually important parts of the practice. Now see what's drawing your attention in your body. Is it, if you drew a line straight down the middle of the body, do you feel one side more than the other? Again, sense this. Not with judgment, just with some curiosity. I sense my left side more than my right. Or one side feels lower. One side has more tingling. Just sense. Now see if you can divide your body front and back. So you're drawing a line through this way. Do you sense your front or the back more? Again, just notice. Even if this seems boring to you, try to do this. This is changing the brain and the nervous system. This is a practice, a sensing practice. Now let's divide our body from the waist down and the waist up. Let's notice those two areas. What do you sense below the waist? If a color appears or some sort of descriptive word, take notice of this. Keep your attention here. And now sense from the waist up. What do you notice? What do you sense? Are you aware of your organs? Are you aware of your breath? Can you sense around the head? Now, particularly draw your attention to your breath. See if you can follow the breath from the time it enters your nostrils, if you're able to, if you're not too stuffed up, and see how far you can trace it. Where does it land? Can you trace it the other way now? Can you sense a difference in temperature from when it goes in to when it goes out? So when you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. And if it's comfortable to do so, take your hands behind your head to support your neck. See if you can open the chest just a little bit. Don't go into pain. Stay within range of motion. See what happens when you tuck your chin in and draw the elbows toward each other. This would be the inhale. This would be the exhale. Start small. See if you can move the sensation from one part of the body maybe to another part. Maybe you feel it first in your shoulders. Then can you feel it more in the chest? Maybe you draw it down a little further. You can control things that are autonomic if we pay attention and direct our senses toward that area. Go ahead and keep the hands still back there and just gently tilt to one side and the other, as if you're a tea kettle, pouring it. Start small again. Grow this pose. Stay within the range of motion. Notice what muscles are engaging. What muscles are releasing? Now, if you can, allow one hand to draw down your side and maybe go a little slower and a little longer. Don't go into pain. Stop short of that. You have to find your edge. Everybody's edge is different. Don't go at my pace. Go at your pace. Now, anytime I build to the next place, if that's not appropriate for you, you stay at the place where we were. So maybe this one's not appropriate today. Maybe it works for you. This is such an individual practice. That's why it's healing. But it starts with you getting connected to what's going on inside your nervous system. There's a place called autopilot. And autopilot is doing things on its own unless we change it. And that's the neat thing about the autonomic nervous system. It can be changed, but it will work on its own. Maybe less efficiently when you've had an injury or an illness or a trauma or too much stress.